Good evening. This is CTV News for Monday, January 23rd. I'm Denise Douglas. So glad you could join us this evening. The driver of an SUV strikes and kills a Laurel City worker this morning. Officials say around 9 a.m. a Department of Public Works employee was hit by a black Navigator at the intersection of Old Sandy Spring Road and Casulas Way. The victim, 30-year-old Marcus Colbert, died on the scene. CTV spoke with a neighbor who says he witnessed the incident.
The guy that was hit, it's sad to say, I think he died instantly because it was the way she hit it, it was just like she ran right into him and pushed him directly into the trash truck. Right now it's kind of crazy. It's just like ran right into the back of him and everything like that. And I don't know how fast she was going, but I don't know if she was texting and driving, but you got to be careful because like people losing their lives out here for no reason and stuff, it's getting really ridiculous.
The crash is still under investigation. The big question about the Affordable Care Act now that President Trump has signed an executive order to begin dismantling it is what exactly will happen now. When confirmed, the new Health and Human Services Secretary could revise the guidelines used to carry out the health care law. Trump's executive order also directed agencies to provide greater flexibility to states to run their own health insurance programs. We spoke with Senator Chris Van Hollen about the impact those and other changes could have on people.
President Trump said on the campaign trail he's going to replace it with something much better. But we haven't seen a replacement. There's nothing there so far, and it would be disastrous to move forward and destroy the Affordable Care Act, destroy Obamacare without something similar put in its place. And so until we see any details, we have to assume that they've got nothing, and we've got to make sure people understand just how catastrophic it would be to eliminate the Affordable Care Act with nothing comparable in its place.
Republicans in Congress still have not said what their replacement plan for Obamacare would be, even after they pass a new law changing it. It could take 2 to 3 years for the new measures to take effect. Hundreds of thousands of immigrants across the nation are worried about their future legal status in the U.S. That's because President Trump has vowed to immediately terminate 2 executive actions taken by former President Barack Obama. One of those presumably includes DACA, or the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, which protects children who were brought into the country illegally as children.
Young immigrants who came to this country as children and were here brought to no fault of their own. Now they are out in the public. They have shared their information with the government in order to get a work permit and a permit to study. And now that is a risk. We're talking, over 750,000 folks who would be impacted if this executive order that was done under President Obama is rescinded. But nationally, we're organizing to make everything in our power to protect our youth so they can remain in this country without fear of deportation. It is too late to go back to the shadows. It is too late to go back to hiding. People are standing firm in their resolution to live in this country with dignity.
In Maryland, more than 15,000 undocumented children have temporary deportation relief under DACA. From coast to coast, activists, celebrities, and everyday people made their voices heard during the Women's March on Saturday. The rallies were aimed at Donald Trump's new presidency and his proposed policies. For the main event in D.C., attendees marched to the National Mall to stand up for women's rights and a variety of other causes, including immigration and health care reform, as well as civil rights for people of all races, religions, and sexual orientation. Meantime, Metro reports that its ridership for Saturday was more than 1 million. Prince George's residents were among the participants.
March, basically because I felt it's important for a young person to represent my generation. There was a lot of older people out there. There was a lot of people like moms and things like that. But for me as a 19-year-old, it was important because I am growing into womanhood to attend something so powerful and to talk to people and listen to other women and the things that they've experienced. And it was eye-opening.
It was amazing to see people representing so many different causes. I marched on Washington with 500,000 plus people, not just women. Men were out there, kids were out there supporting different causes, and it was just a beautiful sight to everybody being in unity for once and just saying that not only are we women, our women's issues matter, our causes are important, and that we're here to fight, and we're here to fight like girls.
Well, some local leaders and community activists were among those who made their way to the nation's capital on Saturday for the Women's March. Former state delegate and attorney Aisha joins us now with her thoughts on the experience. We were talking about this before. The word that kind of popped out of your mouth was empowered.
Absolutely empowered. And the other thing I talked to you about is that the theme of resistance is patriotic. And there was a lot of resistance on Saturday against what many of us believe will be the policies of this next administration. And so we wanted to send a loud and clear message that not here, not now, and not in our future.
And tell us about the group that you attended the march with. Was
Sure.
we heard sort of in the story before that, younger people, older people, different causes. What was your group like?
Absolutely. Well, our good friend, Congresswoman Donna Edwards, sponsored a bus, and we filled it up in less than a day. We had young people from our local high schools, as well as those around my age, and some who were more seasoned, women and men who attended, and it was just an amazing and beautiful coming together of people who had a voice and wanted to send a message.
And we're looking at pictures right now of
Yes.
that event as you're describing it. A lot of people. Did you expect the turnout to be that big?
You know, it was very overwhelming. I can tell you, we tried to make it up to near the main stage, and it just was not possible. There were people coming from everywhere in Washington, and it was absolutely beautiful. And so wherever you ended up is where the march was.
Right.
And I think that the organizers did not expect as many people that actually attended. I believe probably over 500,000 people attended, and that was not what the projections were. So kind of organizing all those folks, that was a little challenging, but you know what? It didn't really matter. It was an unorganized, organized collection of amazing people from all walks of life, all colors, all races, all religions, and but united under one purpose, and that's to keep America moving forward, where all people are respected regardless of their gender, their race, their religion, that we're all one, and that America is great when we're all respected.
And the administration, President Trump's administration, tweeted out that, you know, peaceful protests, that's what America's about. What do you think? Do you think that he is going to receive the ideas and the information that you all kind of put out there that need change and need to be affected as we go forward, or do you think he's not?
Well, I think it really depends on whether he is listening to what the folks in this movement have said, or if he's going to listen to what his administration describes as alternative facts. And if they're listening to what the message was of Saturday, and if they're committed to representing all Americans equally, then maybe they'll take some of the things that we said into consideration when developing policies, especially around women's issues. Women, we don't want people to make decisions for us. We want to be at the table. And we've worked too hard for far too long to take steps back regarding our own reproductive rights, our health care costs, and other issues that disproportionately impact women that historically women have not been able to make the decisions on.
Okay, and a lot of people are asking, what's next? What will you be doing next? What will your group members be doing next?
Absolutely. Well, we are going to be working together to organize community conversations, because we went, but there were several thousand people who did not go, and for various different reasons. But we can make an impact right here in our state, in our county, and so we're going to organize conversations among not just women, but all people, but primarily focused on women's issues, because as you know, there has been an assault by the Republican Party on women's rights, and with the Republicans holding both the Senate, the House, and now the presidency, we believe that there will be some efforts to roll back those gains.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. It's always for stopping by and sharing your experience with us. We will definitely be following you and following other activists as they continue this movement. Activists are hoping to keep the momentum going. A rally to pressure Trump to release his tax returns is scheduled for April 15th. You are watching CTV News. I'm Denise Douglas.